So first, joining us now is Howard Appel and David Cohen, who are co-owners of Destinations in Paradise, which are architectural 5-star villas located in California, Mexico, and Hawaii. Each are unique and offer unforgettable travel experiences. They're here to tell us about the copious benefits of choosing these kinds of private villa accommodations, and I can't wait to hear all about it. Hey there, Howard and David. Welcome to Savvy Living.
Hi, Merilee.
Hi, Merilee. Thanks for having us on.
So first, let's talk about the properties themselves and also your company at large. What sets Destinations in Paradise apart from other luxury home and private villa purveyors in the regions where you operate?
It's essentially a white glove service, very, very personalized, with the very, very best amenities that can be provided. The company was started because we wanted to have some fun. We've been retired a while, and we wanted to give back to people that are traveling, especially when they want privacy and security, the kind of experience that we would expect. So when someone arrives at a house, they're greeted, they're feeling very welcome. Everything that they could possibly want is there, including the best linens. The house is full of flowers. They're given gifts on arrival. They're asked if they have any special requests. When they leave, we give them a thank you gift for coming. This is a very, very personalized experience. It's almost merely like you were having a member of your family that you haven't seen in a while come and stay with you. And you get up early in the morning, you're making them breakfast, you're making them feel at home, and this is their home. But the difference is that it's a 5-star experience. And that's how we like to be treated when we travel. We've both been told that we're travel snobs, and we would like to show people this is the right way to travel.
Well, we like to travel in luxury. And as we started acquiring the properties, we realized that this is a great opportunity to allow other people or offer to other people the same treatment we like. And so the business just fell into place as we started to acquire additional property. So it's the way we all would love to be treated, and we think we offer it differently and more special than others.
In the luxury travel space, much is said about the importance of personal touches to really elevate the experience. So what do you all do in this regard to accommodate and even go over and above for high-end luxury travelers?
It's 2 acres of the most gorgeous landscape that you've ever seen. And so here's the interesting thing about the Mexican property. Even though it's in the middle of a desert, we are desalinating seawater using solar power. And so the yards and the landscaping and the flowers are all very, very lush, but still desert type plants. The interesting thing is that Howard and I have worked together for close to 40 years. And until we actually got into this business, I had no idea that he had this artistic flair. So the landscaping in all the houses is beyond spectacular. My own personal favorite is the Mendocino home, which has the equivalent of an English country garden. You can just go and sit there, read a book. Think of Agatha Christie. Sit in this beautiful with bees buzzing around and butterflies. The Hawaiian property is the same, just gorgeous, perfect Hawaii.
It's important because these homes are indoor-outdoor homes. So we want to make sure we carry the luxury on both sides. It's interesting, if you actually do a search of our home in Cabo on Google Earth, you can spot it because it's the only patch of green and plants anywhere along the East Cape. So we're very proud of how we've catered to our guests through the luxurious aspects of the inside and outside of the home.
You touched on some of it already, but what are some other special amenities and activities that you offer in and even around the homes that are available to all guests?
Each home comes with a concierge service. So our guests can utilize any activity in the local surroundings. So in Mexico, it might be, premier deep sea fishing, to surfing, to paddleboarding in Mendocino. We're about 30 minutes from Anderson Valley, so we can arrange for private wine tours, especially during COVID, to be able to not have big crowds around you. So we try to use the opportunities within the local community and try to personalize that. Now, obviously, the homes in Hawaii and in Mexico have beautiful pools, swim-up bars, solar lighted tennis courts, a lot of amenities on property. In fact, when we travel to Mexico, I think in the 7 or 8 times we've been there, I think we've left the property twice. There's no reason to go because everything is there with you. And so whatever you want to do, whatever the guests would like, we can make it happen.
So obviously the past year has been really tough for the travel industry. So how have the recent health concerns impacted your business with respect to private villa versus hotel or resort or even other kinds of accommodations, and also the guest experience while actually visiting a property?
We took COVID very seriously from the beginning. And, it's 2020 was a hard year for us. We lost almost all of our business. But we used that opportunity to continue to enhance the properties. So even now, when guests come to the property, they're greeted in a manner that provides them health and safety. And so we have our house managers maintain their distance. They use masks, but during their stay, we make sure we work around the guest calendars to not intrude on their stay there. So we leave in Mendocino, we leave fresh baked goods. We leave wine. When in Mexico, our guests are greeted at a distance with cold towels and margaritas. We take it very seriously, and in fact, when a guest leaves, we have a minimum 48 hours between guests, so we can properly clean and sanitize the home for the next guest.
So many people often associate private villa experiences more with leisure travel versus business, but I do know destinations in paradise properties are also utilized in business, especially when there are privacy and exclusivity and even health-related preferences. Plus, of course, the properties are perfectly suited for corporate events and retreats and even utilized as incentives and rewards for employees and business partners. So tell us about these kinds of corporate benefits.
So it's a fantastic question, and I'm not using that word just for puffery. Even though the houses are focused on providing a safe, comfortable environment for families and extended small events, we've had several corporate events at the houses, from small to large, whether it's a small 2-person law firm figuring out how they're going to run their businesses remotely, or to a large distillery that wants to try and get their name out for a new product for, say, tequila in Mexico. And we've had weddings. And the other type of business, of course, living in today's world with social media, are people like rappers that want a place to chill out and rethink what their next shows are going to be, what their next social media events are going to be. We've hosted at the event to release turtles. And as Howard talked about in a previous segment, we released 600 baby turtles in the beaches of Mexico, because very few people understand that there's only 7 major species of turtle on the planet. 6 of them are endangered. And so we, as a business event for that particular university in Mexico, allowed them to have a meeting. And then as their reward, we paid and supported their release of 600 hatchlings. So we try and address everything that we can corporate wise. Howard's had some dealings with some movie studios that are interested in hosting either corporate get-together in terms, again, business strategy meeting for themselves, or focusing on the homes. And in at least 2 instances that I can recall, request to consider using the homes to make a movie production.
So all the homes offer unique opportunity to host business meetings, from the very large, as in Mexico, to even Mendocino for smaller meetings. So they're all unique and offer the privacy and security and comfort to host any size meeting.
And one of the things, just as an add-on to that, Merilee, is that each of the houses has the ability to cater for large and small groups of people. If we bring chefs in, that event never ever needs to leave the property. The house in Mexico, for instance, has 2 kitchens that are fully capable of catering to as many people as we can get onto the property. But each of the houses is built, has the ability to cater internally and not rely on outside services.
So how about philanthropy? Anything you care to share on that front?
So Howard and I have an affinity for animals. Not just Howard, but his family as well. And if you visit Howard's house, you'll find 10 cats and 3 dogs and 500 koi fish. I'm exaggerating a bit, but it does feel like visiting a bit of a zoo.
Don't forget the turtle, which we've had for 25 years, and 2 African spur-thighed tortoises that roam around the backyard.
So just so you know, Howard's turtle that he paid $5 for has had probably veterinarian bills in excess of $10,000.
Well, it's a life that needs to be preserved.
But this is, our focus is on helping disadvantaged, whether they're animals or whether they're people that are interacting with animals. So in Mexico, for instance, we are actively involved in the capture and release of turtle hatchlings, primarily because the beaches are being trampled by tourists, and so the eggs get trampled. So we invest and in a program that saves the hatchlings and releases them. We've gone as far as Africa, where we support a brand new shelter, the first of its kind in Northern Africa, where stray dogs are brought in and they're vaccinated against rabies, because rabies is a huge issue in Africa. Once you're bitten by a rabid dog, you probably will die unless you get to hospital within 2 days. But these dogs are also mentored to become companions for the large number of people that are being captured as teenagers or taken away to camps by some of the guerrilla warfare over there. And so the dogs are matched with these people in a PTSD type environment so that they can become members of society. We support a young woman that's going to college through our funds. We do a lot of work on Kauai with the Kauai Humane Society and support them. We were one of the first people to begin paying to fly animals off the island as a charitable event for the society, so animals could be flown to shelters on the mainland.
So I don't think there's a cause we could overlook. So as David said, in Mexico, when we arrived, after we purchased our home, we realized that there's simply not enough resources for the organizations there to patrol the beaches, to take the eggs and hatch them and bring them back. And so we purchased a ATV that can patrol 36 miles of beaches. At the time, they had 1 old ATV. 2, we support programs that not only in Africa, but also here in the U.S., that match dogs with soldiers coming back from the various campaigns. We also use our homes to raise funds for other charities. So, as an example, the homes are rented quite often, but not all the time. And so just recently, we've supported the San Diego Fleet Museum in various fundraisers where we donate our homes to raise funds. The one that happened this past June raised close to $200,000.
Okay, we all love a good backstory. So where did it all start for you guys? What actually made you want to enter the luxury home rental space in the first place?
It was not a conscious decision earlier. We fell into it by accident by buying the first house because we wanted a house that was in Hawaii that we could enjoy ourselves.
So, Dave and I have thought of buying a home in Hawaii for many, many years. And it just so happened one day I was laid up with a bad back, and David came over and we were talking about an auction for a property in Kauai. And it just so happened within a span of 30 minutes and without telling my wife, we ended up buying a property on the North Shore of Kauai. And so from there, after that sort of sunk in, we looked for other properties to purchase, and we purchased, three additional homes. Maybe not with the same, speed, but certainly it was something for us to do. We both retired to provide to not only travel to, but also to build a business that we can be proud of.
Unfortunately, because the homes are now so popular, Merilee, we don't get to see them that often unless we're purposely setting out to do a maintenance trip, and which we do at least every 3 to 4 months if possible, just to make sure, and Tara laughs at me specifically on this item, to make sure there are no scuff marks, to make sure that the chairs and the linens on the chairs are clean, to make sure that the kitchen equipment is right, to make sure the air conditioners are working, because it's hard to run that type of property remotely. And they have to be pristine in every stay. Whenever someone walks into the house, they have to think they're the first people there.
Well, how about philanthropy? Anything you care to share on that front?
So Howard and I have an affinity for animals. Not just Howard, but his family as well. And if you visit Howard's house, you'll find 10 cats and 3 dogs and 500 koi fish. I'm exaggerating a bit, but it does feel like visiting a bit of a zoo.
Don't forget the turtle, which we've had for 25 years, and 2 African spur-thighed tortoises that roam around the backyard.
So just so you know, Howard's turtle that he paid $5 for has had probably veterinarian bills in excess of $10,000.
Well, it's a life that needs to be preserved.
But this is, our focus is on helping disadvantaged, whether they're animals or whether they're people that are interacting with animals. So in Mexico, for instance, we are actively involved in the capture and release of turtle hatchlings, primarily because the beaches are being trampled by tourists, and so the eggs get trampled. So we invest and in a program that saves the hatchlings and releases them. We've gone as far as Africa, where we support a brand new shelter, the first of its kind in Northern Africa, where stray dogs are brought in and they're vaccinated against rabies, because rabies is a huge issue in Africa. Once you're bitten by a rabid dog, you probably will die unless you get to hospital within 2 days. But these dogs are also mentored to become companions for the large number of people that are being captured as teenagers or taken away to camps by some of the guerrilla warfare over there. And so the dogs are matched with these people in a PTSD type environment so that they can become members of society. We support a young woman that's going to college through our funds. We do a lot of work on Kauai with the Kauai Humane Society and support them. We were one of the first people to begin paying to fly animals off the island as a charitable event for the society, so animals could be flown to shelters on the mainland.
So I don't think there's a cause we could overlook. So as David said, in Mexico, when we arrived, after we purchased our home, we realized that there's simply not enough resources for the organizations there to patrol the beaches, to take the eggs and hatch them and bring them back. And so we purchased a ATV that can patrol 36 miles of beaches. At the time, they had one old ATV. Two, we support programs that not only in Africa, but also here in the U.S., that's match dogs with soldiers coming back from the various campaigns. We also use our homes to raise funds for other charities. So, as an example, the homes are rented quite often, but not all the time. And so just recently, we've supported the San Diego Fleet Museum in various fundraisers where we donate our homes to raise funds. The one that happened this past June raised close to $200,000.
What about your plans for the months and even years ahead? What are some of your short and even long-term goals, whether for the properties themselves or your company overall?
We sort of have reached a point where we are looking to purchase additional properties. One of the properties that we have homes on the beaches, but we don't have homes in the mountains. So we are looking to acquire homes, whether it's in Wyoming or in Montana. Personally, I would love a log cabin home. Maybe not something the size of what Abraham Lincoln was born in, but something more extravagant. And I think that's where we want to expand here in the U.S. so we can also enjoy the homes. And it's certainly easier to travel, throughout the continental U.S. than in other countries.
But a home in Wyoming, Merilee, if you've been there, if you go down to Jackson Hole and you wake up in the morning and you look at those spectacular mountains, you go out and see the elk, and you go out and you go skiing in winter, or day-long hikes or bicycle rides in these beautiful lakes. But come home to comfort and security, knowing that you're coming home to a really comfortable home, whether it's in winter with a huge fire roaring in the fireplace, or whether it's in summer and your children are playing outside in the yards, and there's a chef cooking for you or barbecuing for you. We want to bring that experience to the middle of the country. We're not eager to bite off more than we can chew. We want each home to be special, and so we spend the time to make sure that's the case, and it has our personal touch.
Well, you clearly have so much to offer both leisure and business travelers, and in spectacular form. So thanks for joining us today to provide that really helpful insight.
Merilee, thanks for having us. It's been fun chatting with you.
For more information about Destinations in Paradise, see all of their fabulous options online at destinationsinparadise.com.